for a government if you're that much money in debt. And so this whole thing is just getting ready to crash. And we've known for a while that most of the other governments, all of them are pulling their money out of America's stocks, out of America's companies, propping up the euro now to overcome the American dollar. And so all these things are just waiting to hit us, folks. Call in line 260-356-2611. Now, far I want to get into this because usually the phone rings, and I enjoy talking to you guys. Last 3 weeks I've been doing just recordings of getting information out, and like getting back into just doing listener call-ins and talking to you guys. That's what this show is about. I get emails constantly.
Sherry?
From people who want on this show.
Sherry?
Yeah.
I wonder where John's hiding at tonight.
I know. Who gave him the weekend off?
Yeah, I gotta say, he must be ignoring us.
He does this every once in a while. He takes an unannounced weekend off. John's becoming an integral part of the show. Everybody's when John doesn't call in, it's like, where's John? Where's John? Yeah. Where's John? John, if you're listening, call in. Anyway, what was I talking about before? Because I know. Oh, another thing I wanted to give you a heads up on. Some information I stumbled on this past week about the avian flu, the avian bird flu. I'm probably saying it wrong. It's probably avian. I don't know how to pronounce everything. I do it very well. But it's the avian bird flu, and it's a big plague that the government's getting ready to unleash on us. Notice how I termed this. It's not something that's just going to hit or come from nowhere. They're getting ready to unleash it on us. And when they start piling up body bags in certain areas of the country, then you know which areas they're targeting. And it seems to me like this is going to be a target.
Sherry?
Yeah.
We have John on the phone.
Hello, John.
Well, good evening. Good evening. I was on the toll road, and I got off, got to a friend's house, and said, I've got to hear Sherry's show. So I'm calling from a VoIP phone just off the road.
Oh, wow. And so he pulled you off the road to call in, huh? Well, tell you something.
So I'm able to hear the last 10 minutes or so of the show, and it just doesn't seem like Saturday night without the Sherry Shriner show.
Hey, well, without John calling in. You're a part of this show. Everybody's used to John calling in, and when John doesn't call in, it's like, where's John? So I was telling Steve he took an unannounced weekend off.
Well, I've got some people here listening to the show, and some fine cats as well.
Oh, well, that's great to hear.
I noticed on the 18th, the whole country is waiting to see what's happening with Terry Scavo. Do you have any insight into that? What do you think might happen with that over the next week?
Well, I think I was just reading on I just glanced at something about Congress stepping in and telling them to put the tube back in her. So I think that there's a judge, one of these Satan-freak, blood-drinking, probably shape-shifting judges down there.
Sherry?
Yeah.
I just seen, I think it was on the news, they're going to have a special session of Congress or the House tomorrow to vote on it.
Oh, good. Good. Yes, I thought I read something about that on the net about the tube being Congress stepping in to have them put her food tube back in.
Yes, 7 years ago, Judge Greer heard a case from a woman who was being terrorized by her husband, and she begged for a protective order. He absolutely refused to give it to her, and the man stabbed her to death 2 weeks later.
Yeah, see, this judge needs to be, retired. fired. He's not upholding the Constitution, and that's part of one of the emails I sent to the White House about it.
They say that there are 17 illegal points for her confinement, that she should not be in a hospice, and there's been so much breaking of state law regarding to her care that there may be quite a bit of litigation this year to address some of these points as well. That poor woman has suffered so grievously.
Yeah, well, that's just awesome, because I heard that there was a man, a millionaire, that was stepping in to help with her case.
Yes, and it has been a rallying point for the country, and there is nothing as powerful as prayer. And we should all be in prayer, and in some cases, I think even fasting. If we can't go to Florida, if we don't have money to contribute, we can still send emails, make phone calls, pray, and in some cases fast.
Yeah, that's definitely what I've been leading on my websites for people, giving them the phone numbers to call, giving them the email addresses. The second time, third, I called the White House. They said, "What state are you from?" They don't care about my name. They knew it. It's like, what state? They're more interested in the state. They want to know which parts of the country are paying attention.
Ah.
And I found that interesting. Because they don't really care about your name. They just want to know what state you were calling from.
It would be interesting to know what the tally would be at the end of the day on it. I would suspect that there are a lot of Midwesterners that care very deeply about that.
Yeah, well, we need to unite people all over the country, especially their strongholds, because I know Ohio has always been a strong Republican state. And if we're turning around saying, "Hey, we voted you in, we're watching you now." I didn't vote him in.
I think the whole world is watching now.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes a win. It's, one website at a time, one news list at a time, one group at a time, getting the information out. And this is one of these things that you heard about last year or whatever, and now it's just time to act. I mean, this was like the icing on the cake this week when they were going to try to kill her again. And it's like I said to Janet, I said, "You stepped in before to save her, now do it again. Don't kill her."
Regardless of how this turns out, I think it's a miraculous demonstration of how God can use a person's circumstances in the most mysterious way. This poor woman who is bedridden and has difficulty communicating has become a rallying point of someone very important nationwide. She has become the conscience of the nation.
Yes, she has, and you can feel it.
Miracle.
She's uniting God's people to stand behind her, and she has no idea of the millions of people she's affected already. No idea the support she has behind her.
She has been a great blessing to all of us.
Yeah, she definitely has, and I can't wait for the day where she can just talk and reveal the things that they're trying to hide. By keeping her incapacitated, not giving her help, and not letting her have rehabilitation. Even when rehabilitation's been ordered, the nurse who signed an affidavit said they weren't allowed to give it to her. So she's received no help. Because Michael Chavez stays in that center and makes sure she doesn't get what she needs.
Yes.